Hey there, Ride the Car Guy here, and let's go ahead and wrap up Nissan Titan Suspension Month. Today signifies the last week of Titan Suspension Month here at Ride the Car Guy. So, week 1 we did our upper control arms. Week 2 we did our coilovers. Week 3 we did our lower control arms. And then week 4 we did our rear shocks, and now here we are. I want to take this opportunity to look back at the work I did, talk to you about the choices I made, what the results were that I got, and how I'm liking it. First of all, let's talk about why I did what I did. Now for me, this is a 2006 Titan and it has 216,000 miles, so the why here is pretty clear. My front suspension was a little saggy and very, very tired. Every time I would hit a bump, I would have that sort of luxury car wave feeling, and I would have certainly excessive body roll when making turns. In addition to that, my ball joints were absolutely destroyed on the uppers, they were getting real sad on the lowers, and my bushings weren't exactly great either. I was originally going to just do the ball joints and the bushings and just kind of make that a video and then reuse my old control arms, but my control arms are a little sad looking. They were a little rusty, and when I actually did the numbers, the cost of the bushings and the ball joints all together was not a lot less expensive than just replacing the entire control arm. I don't remember the numbers offhand, but I'll show you them right here. I remember it being, I think it was either less than $100 or right around $100 more to just completely replace the control arms and not have to push out all of the bushings and ball joints. I decided to go with Moog. Some people are a fan, some people aren't. I find them to be a good balance between sort of value and quality. And for shocks, I went with Bilsteins all the way around. I have Bilsteins, of course, on the Xterra, if you have been following my videos, and I've been very, very happy with them. I will say they're a little stiff, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. For the springs up front, I was very happy to be able to partner with All Dogs Off-Road yet again, and they were able to hook me up with a pair of their prototype springs for the Titan. These springs are gonna offer some lift for you, so if you saw my coilover video, you know that my goal for this Titan was to actually do a sort of a leveling kit, if you will. I wanted to raise the front, but leave the rear at its current height. I was gonna go the squatted route, but luckily my friends talked me out of it. The original measurements, of course, obviously when you have an older truck and it starts to sag, different trucks are treated differently and will sag differently, but in my particular measurements, we had 21.5 inches from hub to fender, and then we ended up with 23 3/4 afterwards, so that was about 2 1/4 inch lift. This actually worked out perfectly for me because, as you know, trucks, when they sit stock, sit with the ass end up a lot higher and the front a lot lower. I personally wanted a nice leveled look, and this lifted it up just enough that, of course, it did not lift it up higher than the bed, but it nearly made it level, which is exactly what I wanted. Again, your experience could vary, right? Because if your truck was used for excessive towing, then lifting the front by 2 1/4 inches might actually make it higher than the rear, so that's something to consider. This particular Titan that I purchased, you could tell was not used for a bunch of towing, so the rear springs still have a lot of life left in them, which is why I haven't replaced them yet. Now, you're obviously gonna see some dramatic changes in your ride when you do something like this, especially going from an old, sad, decade-and-a-half old suspension to a brand new one. You're gonna see a big difference. On road, the biggest things that I noticed was the lack of body roll. So obviously when you're in a big truck, any vehicle really, depending on the configuration, when you are turning around corners, you get that sort of roll, right? You roll to the outside of the turn. That has pretty much all but gone away. And I will admit, I am a bit of a grandpa driver, especially when I drive big vehicles. I don't drive aggressively, but for me personally, body roll all but went away. The second is not necessarily positive, it's kind of up to you to determine that, but you feel the road a heck of a lot more as well. So when you move from one of those soft luxury car-esque suspensions and you move into something a lot stiffer, you're gonna feel everything. You're gonna feel all the little cracks and bumps in the road. That doesn't necessarily bother me in my Titan. It might bother me in my Chrysler 300 or my whatever that is back there, the Bolt. But in the Titan, you kind of expect it, right? When you're driving a truck, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just my opinion. Off-road is where it really shines, right? When you start getting onto less traveled dirt roads or just straight up off-road, you're gonna notice that the tires are gonna rebound a lot quicker and you'll kind of maintain traction a lot better when you're off-road. Being off-road also, of course, is going to highlight how stiff it really is, right? It's going to bounce you around a little bit, but all in all, a lot of people would prefer that off-road to having that soft suspension. If you are interested in those All Dogs off-road springs, when they do become available, I will make sure to have a link in the description below. Another consideration is when you're doing lifting in the front, you need to make sure that you get that aligned. Now, to do that, if you're lifting and you don't have cam bolts on your lower control arm, you really should switch to those. Get those moved over, and then that way when you bring it to the alignment shop, they can get it as close to in-spec as possible. All in all, I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. Eventually, I will swap out these springs in the rear because I do plan to tow with this one day. So there's still a lot of work I need to do up front before I even consider towing with it. But when I do, I will be swapping out the springs, so definitely keep a lookout for that video. I do want to shout out All Dogs Off-Road. I really appreciate y'all letting me use these springs and try them out. And they're great guys to work with. If you do see yourself looking for a lift kit, check them out. I also want to shout out MXNoob. So I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for letting me head out to the land, obviously, and get these shots, and also helping me get the shots that you see in this video today. I'm trying to get him to upload some DRZ videos. I know some of you asked about riding the new Suzuki DRZ. Maybe we'll throw some footage at the end of this video, but I'm also going to be featured on MXNoob's channel, probably falling over on my new Dual Sport. But that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me on Nissan Titan Suspension Month. If you want to watch any of the videos, you can look down in the description, or of course I'll put some cards in the video as well. If you want to have some more content like this, make sure you of course subscribe. And if this video helped you, please help me out by clicking the like button down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.